I've said it 5 times before, and I'm going to say it for the 6th time today. Andrade and Carmelo Hayes have stolen the show. Welcome everybody to my review of Friday Night Smackdown. To anyone that's new, welcome to the Wrestling with Eddie YouTube channel where we talk pro wrestling. We do Raw, Smackdown, PLE reviews, prediction videos, and anything else I feel like talking about. So make sure to subscribe, comment what you thought of this week's episode of Smackdown, give the video a thumbs up because it helps the algorithm. And now let's talk about Friday Night Smackdown segment by segment. So the show started off with Randy Orton finally making his return to SmackDown. He's been away on Raw with a rivalry with Gunther, and now he's back on SmackDown talking about how he's not really sure as to why Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns are teaming up, and he called out Cody Rhodes, and Cody came out to explain why he's doing this tag team match at Bad Blood. This brought out Kevin Owens, and before Kevin can say anything at all, the Bloodline came out, and Solo once again started to try and build tension between all of them, and Cody called out for a match, a tag team match, where Kevin Owens stopped him and said, no, let's go Kevin and Randy versus Solo and Jacob, basically forcing Cody to not be a part of the match, and saying, you have a big match coming up with at Bad Blood, so let us handle this one. Obviously trying to cause some chaos there, which I don't like. I said it. I don't want Kevin or Randy or Cody to turn on one another because I really like seeing all three of them as a team. But we'll see where this goes. Before our first match, we had a quick backstage segment where Nia Jax was choking Tiffany Stratton and being very upset at her for what happened last week, basically saying that if this ends badly for her, it's going to end even worse for Tiffany Stratton. And as she walked away, we can see that Tiffany Stratton is starting to turn on Nia Jax. And I'm really liking this storyline. It feels like they're setting up a cash-in very soon, which I'm really okay with. This set up our first match of the night, which was Bayley versus Naomi in a #1 contenders match to fight Nia Jax at Bad Blood. And this was a good match. I felt like, again, there was a couple spots that seemed a little off, but the crowd were really into it, and they chanted, "This is awesome," and there were really a couple good spots in the match, too. Bayley won, which I wasn't a fan of. I really wanted Naomi to win because we just saw Bayley versus Nia Jax at SummerSlam, so I figured give Nia Jax another match. However, if this is all to set up Tiffany Stratton cashing in, I'm okay with it. So you guys remember last week I talked about how Andrade and LA Knight had a really weird moment at the end of the match where LA Knight went for the fist bump and Andrade went for the handshake, and they had this whole weird thing. Well, they addressed it this week and talked about how that was a weird interaction. And before Andrade and Carmelo VI, we had a very quick segment backstage where Andrade and LA Knight came face to face. And Andrade basically said, where I'm from, men shake hands, don't fist bump, and I've lost my respect for you. And as LA Knight was about to say something, Carmelo out of nowhere ran in and jumped LA Knight and made him go fly over a table and called out Andrade saying, let's go in the ring, let's fight. This went right into the 6th match between Carmelo and Andrade, and I talked about it. I wanted this to end at match 5. But if they keep putting on great matches like this, I really can't complain. This was awesome. There were so many good moments. This is the match of the night. This is the one thing you're going to have to go out of your way to watch from SmackDown tonight. Loved it. So many awesome spots. There was a moment where Andrade hit a slam between the ropes that looked really cool. Carmelo hit a top rope cutter reversal that looked awesome. And the ending was really interesting where LA Knight came out to attack Carmelo. Andrade stopped him. Carmelo pushed Andrade into LA Knight, rolled him up, and got the win. And now it's 3-3, setting up match number 7. And I honestly feel like match 7 needs to have a special rule to it. It can't just be one-on-one. I give them something. I don't know, an Iron Man match or something. They can't do Last Man Standing because we're getting that Bronson Reed and Braun. But give us something special here, and then let's build up a triple threat because LA Knight, Andrade, and Carmelo is going to be a great time. After the match, we had Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens, and Randy Orton backstage. Kevin and Randy were getting ready for their match, and Cody walked in basically saying, we need to talk about this whole situation with Roman Reigns, and Kevin Owens saying, no, not right now. We will talk about it, but not now because he wanted to get ready for his match. Then Kevin told Cody, do not get involved in our match tonight. Let us deal with it, and walked away. But then Randy told Cody, if the Tongas get involved, we'd like you to come out and help. So Cody now conflicted. Does he listen to Kevin or does he listen to Randy? and we'll have to see where it goes with the main event. Then we had a good match between Michin and Piper Niven. This was way better than last week's Michin match where it went way too quickly and I complained that they cut that match short. They actually gave this match some time. We actually had a commercial break, so they went at least longer than one segment. But it was a good match, nothing special. This is obviously setting up Michin versus Chelsea Green in a dumpster match next week, which is going to be great. And Michin got the win here, which I'm really happy about. Then we got a lot of stuff throughout this whole episode prepping next week's SmackDown, which feels like a PLE to itself. We are getting DIY, the Street Profits, and the Tongas in a three-way ladder match for the World Tag Team Championships. Awesome. We are getting Michin versus Chelsea Green in a dumpster match. Awesome. And we're getting the return of AJ Styles next week. Very awesome. So next week's SmackDown is looking fantastic. I am super excited for next week's episode. Speaking of next week's episode, our next segment was Bayley and Naomi crossing paths backstage, and Bayley asking Naomi if they're cool because of the tension from Bayley beating Naomi early in the show. They hugged it out and walked away, and then Tiffany Stratton came out making fun of Naomi for losing, and Naomi said, we'll have a match next week, and walked away. So another thing for next week, which is Naomi versus Tiffany Stratton. Then we got the main event, which was RKO, Randy, Kevin Owens, versus the Bloodline, which was Solo and Jacob, in a good match, which has been what they've been doing almost every single week. It's always Bloodline versus someone, and it feels like it's always the same idea. This match ended with, of course, shenanigans where the Tongas came out, got involved. Cody came out to make the save. He unfortunately got knocked into the ref, distracted Kevin Owens, and the Solo got the win. After the match is where all of this got interesting, where Kevin Owens got into Cody's face, very upset, and Randy had to separate them. Feels like watching a couple break up, and I don't like it. But, you know, I don't want any heel turns between Kevin, Randy, and Cody. But if they're gonna do it, I like the way they're doing it currently, because they're making me care enough that I don't want it to happen, so that's a good sign. But let me know what you guys think. Do you want to see the heel turn? And if so, who do you want to turn? Do you want it to be Kevin or Randy? It's clearly not going to be Cody. Cody is the face in all of this. But I'm liking it. They're giving reason for all of it. It's not just going to be a random turn. They're building it up. I don't want it to happen. I really hope that they can resolve it and stay friends, because, you know, it's fun to see wrestling be a little bit different instead of always the same thing of someone has to turn on someone. You can have Randy versus Cody be a face versus face match, and people will be excited about it. You don't need to heel turn on this one. And that's the end of the episode. A good episode, in my opinion. I want to give it like a 7 out of 10. It feels very typical of start with Bloodline stuff, bunch of things, and end with Bloodline stuff. Kind of wish they would have changed the pacing on here, maybe give us Andrade and Carmelo be the main event instead. I feel like that would have just added a bit to it. I thought it was a good show, but I'm extremely excited for next week's episode because it feels PLE level of excitement. So let me know what you guys thought of this week's episode, and let me know if you're excited for next week as well. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.